welcome to another edition of Banter and Babble. I am the Dude79, and joining me always, my esteemed colleague, Mr. Fanboytone. Mr. Fanboytone, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I've had a long day, but I'm doing well.
Yes, you have. In fact, you've had such a long day, we've just done away with beer, and we're just going with the hard shit tonight. Clickety clank. Why don't you tell the fine folks what we're drinking here?
Well, this is the last two eggnogs that were at the Meijer near my work yesterday.
Did you check the expiration date?
I sure did. February 27th. We're good to go. But inside that eggnog,
oh boy,
there's a little friend of ours called the Captain.
Oh boy,
Captain Morgan, the spiced rum.
Well, let's see if you mixed it up good.
Nope. All the rum's sitting on top.
Yep, it's sitting sitting on the fucking top. Woo. Oh my god.
Choo choo.
Woo! Good lord.
We're gonna shit our pants by the end of this, everybody.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard liquor. I just I can drink beer. I can drink a lot of beer and be okay. If I have 2 cups of this is gonna be an age gated episode. I'm probably gonna get kicked off of Mixer.
Oh, I'm glad we're sitting on toilets. Oh yeah, he's right. What's new? What's new?
Right. Glad to see everyone in the chat. We got Drastin, Ren Fox, Zombie Killer, Prime Gaming, Atomic, King Cuddles. Really appreciate everyone stopping in. As always, you guys are the best. Really, really appreciate it.
That's it. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.
That's it. Have a great night. Have a Merry Christmas.
Enjoy.
Go fuck yourselves. No. Got a great show tonight. We got a lot to talk about. A lot of cool stuff has happened since the last episode. Hell, we just remembered one thing at the last moment.
Yeah.
Putting the show together
20 minutes ago.
We're like, oh shit, we forgot about this one trailer.
Right.
We got to talk about this thing. So a whole lot of stuff to talk about tonight. Obviously, we'll be talking about the Rise of Skywalker. That's the big event. I mean, it's the event of the holiday season and arguably of 2019.
I'm hyped.
We got a lot of stuff going on. We got some games to talk about. We have some events that we got to talk about. We got some trailers we got to talk about. We got a whole lot of good shit to talk about. So I hope you guys and girls are having a great night. Grab some drinks. We're gonna get messed up, but first of all, Tone, what have you been playing? Let me guess. You got the Star Wars hype going right now.
Very much hype.
You've been playing one of those. What was that Boba Fett game you were playing the other night? Are you still playing that one?
Fucking Bounty Hunter Jango Fett. Listen, the concept is brilliant.
Yeah. It looked brilliant.
But the Jesus. But it has not aged well.
No,
I know
it
some
hasn't.
people don't like hearing that, but guess what? Some things don't age well. Control-wise, it doesn't age well. The concept is brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Prey, this is going to be really off topic, real quick, random. The sequel to the original Prey on 360, Prey 2, was going to play similar to this game. It was supposed to be like a bounty hunter, sci-fi bounty hunter. You had amnesia or something, and you're going to check targets and stuff like that. So that was always intriguing to me. I was really hyped about that game. This game, I always want to play. I played it for a couple hours. Defects was there for the first half hour, and he's trying to help me figure out where to go, and you couldn't figure out shit. The controls are terrible. But that said, I started playing some Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 2017.
Yes.
A game that collected some dust, hardly anybody played.
And it got shit on a ton.
And a lot of people actually still do they play. It's crazy how big that community is. And now...
Yeah. This game is right back in the
forefront. It got re-reviewed.
Yeah, it got re-reviewed by IGN. They gave it an 8.8.
Crazy.
People are talking about it all over on Twitter. They've added some more content. They added some big content today or yesterday, I believe it was.
Yeah, they had a big 5 gig update yesterday too.
Lots of stuff coming in. Obviously, they're riding off that Rise of Skywalker hype. They're making the game relevant again. You kind of talked about earlier. Maybe this is something to do with Battlefield 5. DICE is trying to make something relevant because
apparently
not a lot of people playing Battlefield 5. Not that I noticed.
And people say it's a really great game, but
nobody's playing it. No. So, but let's talk about Battlefront 2, man. You've been back in it. How is everything running good? You guys are having fun?
Yeah.
Now, is this? And the last question is this going to continue? This resurgence.
That is the ultimate question. Drastin and we played it for months after it first came out. We had a small group, Rock Mercury, I don't know if he's around tonight. We had a small group of people that played for months, and you recall because you were giving us a lot of shit about it, as normal, trolling us about it. You guys are really playing this game, and we played it longer than a lot of our friends did. And it got shelved for a while, and now it's a whole different thing. They've added a ton of new modes. It's got a lot of support now, and because of Star Wars coming out this week, a lot of hype going on right now.
Oh yeah,
so everybody's kind of back into it, and we've been having a blast with it. And honestly, last night was there was 4 of us playing, and we spent I thought doing an hour worth of random Star Wars quotes, and not even famous ones from all the
Just
entire
any line
from
from
the
movie.
entire Holy Saga, and like they stayed up till 2 a.m. Like 3 of these dudes just kept quoting it all night. I guess.
Mm-hmm. I would
Awesome,
just say,
good stuff.
I know.
Nerds.
That's all I would say over and over.
Say, yeah,
I know.
I know.
I know. One of my favorite lines in that movie. I love you. I know. Han was so badass. No, it's awesome to see you guys back in there and playing that, because like that game was hit by a lot of criticism. It was hit by a lot of hate, especially with the loot box system and whatnot. But yeah, it's kind of seeing itself in that like a Rainbow Six Siege type of situation where it was all but just thrown to the curb. Like, this thing is trash. They're done with it. Fuck it. It's garbage. Nobody wants to play it. But now it's just kind of over the years they've been slowly adding content. You were talking about the Ewok mode. That's kind of like a Left 4 Dead style of mode. No, I want to check that shit out.
It's like a horror survival. It's crazy. It's awesome. It's actually really, really fun, and you get creeped out by it because you run around the dark, man.
Yeah,
like,
no,
awesome.
I downloaded it because I saw you guys playing it in the game. You know, and no one's ever going to argue that the game doesn't look good. It's a beautiful looking game.
Any Frostbite game does, in my opinion.
It's a beautiful looking game. And watching you guys play, I was like, man, that looks really, really good. It looks really good. And I know you said there's a lot of modes. I think they've added quite a bit of co-op. Now, co-op's my jam. I love co-op in any game. So depending on the depth of the co-op, I know they've added a lot of co-op to the game since then. So I'm anxious to check that out if we ever get back on there as well.
Someday. We'll see how long it lasts, right? We'll see how long we can keep
Absolutely.
See how long.
That's going to be the key. I don't know. After we go see Rise of Skywalker, you know, is the
hype going to keep going? We'll see. We're having a blast right now.
I downloaded it. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely for nothing.
You're right.
I downloaded it to not play it.
80 gigs for shit.
Awesome. Can't wait to not play it.
You've been playing something really interesting that really caught my eye when I was watching you play that, by the way.
Yeah, that Boba Fett game that you were talking about. I am back into that shit. No, I actually picked up Darksiders Genesis.
Man, so jealous.
Now, you know, this game has been really strange. It kind of got lost in the shuffle with the fall games. Mm-hmm. And now it's a PC exclusive until February.
Right.
So it launched on Steam, you know, and then it's coming out in February on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. And, you know, I was watching the trailers for it, and I was like, okay, it looks like a Diablo-style game, like an action RPG with Diablo elements. So I was like, okay, that could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That could be pretty cool. The reviews started coming out, more than cool. Like, actually a really good entry into the Darksiders, like, franchise, even though it doesn't play like a typical Darksiders game.
Right.
It's from what I played, I've really enjoyed it. It's a really fun game. The combat's really strong. The environments are really detailed. They're kind of crazy. The bosses are really difficult. You know, it's a fun game to play. Like, I was really impressed by it. I wasn't expecting much going in.
Could you almost say it's kind of a hybrid? Because when I was watching you play, my comment to you was like, man, this reminds me of the dungeons from Battle Chasers, who also Airship Syndicate is now back on it.
Yep.
So Mad Joe back. Yeah,
Mad Joe definitely had his hand in this. You can tell with the art style, the way the game looks. It's very, very similar. I would say it's a mixture of Battle Chasers and Diablo. There's some loot in there that you can earn. There's a lot of RPG elements. It's a very, very, very good game, you guys. It's a lot of fun. And the characters, War and Strife are awesome. Like, that's the one thing I was really impressed with. Once I got done playing, I was like, man, the writing and the story is actually really good. And Strife and War, their banter back and forth. You know, Strife reminds me of kind of like a Cade 6 character.
That's great.
Just kind of like off the
that
wall.
Roguey kind of.
That rogue.
Yeah,
that type of character. And then you got War, who's like by the books and no nonsense. So they feed off each other really, really good, or really, really well. And I'm not gonna lie, dude, playing that game, I kind of want to go back and play the other ones now, because I don't have any experience with the Darksiders.
You know, I carry that flag pretty heavily.
Yes, you do.
And I was fortunate enough and very lucky due to my job to be able to talk to Mad Joe a couple months before Battle Chasers came out. I talked to him for 10 minutes, and he was in a booth, and like nobody realized this is because I walked up and like says, "Oh, Mad Joe's gonna be here." I'm like, "Joe really gonna be here?" And he's like, "Yeah, he'll be here in a few minutes," and blah blah blah. I walked up to him and he was watching somebody play Battle Chasers. I don't even think the guy that was playing Battle Chasers realized he was talking to fucking Mad Joe right here. So I walked up and said, "Hey, I'm blah blah blah. I'm glad to meet you." Got a selfie with him. I said, "Man, dude, I love your work. I read Battle Chasers, etc." I said, "What was your inspiration for Battle Chasers in your gaming?" And he started talking about Suikoden and all these old school 90s RPGs that I played as well too. And then I randomly said something about, I said, we were talking about RPGs. We're kind of bouncing some stuff back and forth, and I mentioned Lord of the Rings Online. And he's like, "Holy crap, we were just talking about that in the office literally yesterday, how that was one of the best MMOs, etc." And I'm like, that's pretty wild that I'm having this conversation with a guy like this. But back to your point, to all that RPG and that good writing, that's him, and that's his team. They're serious RPGers. And if you've never played Battle Chasers, chat, You need to play one of the best RPGs that have come out in this last gen. It's a straight up old school 90s RPG to a T. In the music, in the environments, similar to what you're seeing in Genesis, is unbelievable. The lighting, just everything.
Dude, it's just a well polished game. They do a great job, and I think it's $39.99 on PC. I think it's gonna be similar priced on consoles when it comes out. So it's not a full price game. I was a little concerned about how quickly I was getting through it because I think I only played for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I was already like 5 or 6 chapters in. But when I went up and looked online, I think I read it was like 20 some chapters. So I have a ways to go. But I mean, you got to keep in mind it is a budget title, but you can play it cooperatively with a friend. Because right now when you play, you're switching between Strife and War, just using the controller. You just switch between characters, and they all have different skill sets. Pikachu, we were talking about Darksiders Genesis. It's currently available on PC, but it's also out. It'll be out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch in February. I think it's February 14th.
Actually, I think they're joking about it being Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I think it is one because that comes out the same day as Dreams. Dreams comes out.
By the way, I didn't tell you. I did get I'm in the early.
Are you in the beta?
I'm in the early access right now.
Oh, nice! I want to get your thoughts on that, man.
Yeah, I have.
Some of the videos I've seen of people that
Sonic. Did you see that Sonic video?
Yes.
What the fuck,
dude!
I can build Sonic in another video game. It's almost like Little Big Planet meets like I don't know, like Minecraft or something.
Dude, I'm going to make the greatest mountain and cactus level ever.
So fucking Sonic Gem, Sonic game, Sonic game in a game. That's what's clever about it.
Sonic game in a game. But no, you guys, seriously, if you get a chance, check out Darksiders Genesis. It's actually a really, really good game. Now, I want to also ask you, what is the other game that Mad Joe is working on? He actually announced it during the Game Awards. I want to say he's doing a story version of is it Dota? I think he's working on.
Is he doing the story for Dota?
Yes,
game?
he's
really?
doing. It's a single player. I think it's Dota or League of Legends. It's Dota or League of Legends. One of those two.
League's the one that's got like something coming out. I think.
Yeah, right? It might be League. Does anyone know? Does anyone remember watching? I think he is doing. They're doing like a single player experience based on League of Legends or Dota. I want to say it's one of those two games.
Yeah,
but Mad Joe was on stage. They were talking to him, and that's what they're working on.
That's a whole big deal if he's involved in that. I did not realize that.
Yeah, no. Oh, just Diablo me. I know, dude. What the Diablo 4? Did they give a date for that, or did they just say? Because I know they're still early in development. That game's gone through hell in terms of its development. They had to start off as one thing, and then they had to stop it and redo it, and it was just a total shit show. Is it League? Okay, yeah. Thanks, Project Jeff. It's League of Legends.
Play Path of Exiles.
They're doing a single player expansion based on League of Legends.
That's cool.
So.
Well, that's a big deal if he's writing it. He's great.
Oh yeah, it looks really, really good. It looked really good from what they showed. So good stuff there. It's a really fun game, you guys. Definitely check it out. Darksiders Genesis. Now we're gonna keep talking about games because we're gonna talk about Call of Duty again. Because that's all we keep talking about.
It's consistent because our community, a lot of people that we hang out with and game with and talk to daily, a lot of people play Call of Duty and can get together. Prime every day. From 9 to 2 works his job, which is streaming and playing COD.
Mm-hmm.
And there we are.
So on Sunday, this was a last-second thing. Like
days before, I think they started coming together, right?
You know, we're in the WhatsApp with the Tater Tot Boys, and we're talking about, let's do this, do that. Let's do a Call of Duty meetup. Let's get the community involved. Let's get everyone in there and playing. And we're like, okay, yeah, let's try it. And then we went to our Discord and got people involved there. The next thing I know, we were running like 15 deep. We had a large group of people that and people were coming in all day.
I figured 20 to 25 people all day intermixed.
Because you decided to stream for 8 hours.
I was almost 8 hours. Yeah, I didn't even take an actual break. I ate a bar for the bad shooting. I started at 10 a.m. when we got everything figured out. It took us about 10 minutes to get everybody figured out, the crossplay and all that shit. Mm-hmm. But once we started going, because you have to play customs, which is stupid, by the way. Infinity Ward, whoever out there, fucking set it up. If you want 20 people to play Ground War, fucking make it happen. Would you fucking, for fuck's sake? However, that said, the custom game shit was entertaining, regardless of the fact we had a good time. We had a lot of us in there.
Dude, it was straight chaos because we were in there. We were playing mostly I think we were doing team deathmatch. We were doing control or something like that at first. And then, I was dominating everything. And then March showed up. And March like, well, let's play gun game because I'm good at that.
March through a wrench.
And so March comes in just talking all this shit. She's like, we're going to play fucking gun game on gunfight maps. And she's talking about she's going to own everybody. Dude, I pimp smacked March.
Yes, that's right.
Through multiple games of gun game. Notice I talk all this shit when she's not here now.
Right, no, she'd kick your ass.
But she will definitely have words with me because I'm calling her out and she's not here. But I'm a tough guy and that's what I do. But no, dude, we got in there and gun game on gunfight maps with like 15 people.
Dude.
It's fucking chaos. It's hilarious.
You watch people spawn in front of you. She even said that too. She's like, "No, don't move. Just stand there. Somebody's gonna spawn in front of you." I'm like, "Fuck, whatever." She's fucking with me, and she wasn't kidding.
There was one video that Ant House posted that was absolutely hilarious, where him and I are like, we spawn and we're looking at each other.
Yeah.
And we got our guns aimed at each other, and then human being spawned in between us. And we both at the same time just aimed at him and just killed him.
He was like, is that where he said Mexican standoff?
It was hilarious. Like, we both looked at human being at the same time and just lit him up. But I mean, dude, it's straight chaos. It's a lot of fun. It was a lot more fun than I thought it would be. I don't know if it's a mode I want to play consistently.
No.
A lot of guys we're all like Prime. Of course, Prime's old. He had to back up.
He was in for an hour. He's like, time for a nap.
I'm tired. I gotta get my nap in.
Nap time.
But no, dude, that shit was a lot of fun. Yeah, he doesn't argue. He's like, yeah, that's true. But Pikachu, we'll definitely do it again. We want to get you in there, girl. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's not always going to be a chance where everybody's going to be able to get together.
Exactly.
It happened to be a Sunday where I actually had a Sunday off. You had some time. Prime had some time. Everybody just had time for it. It just worked. Even if it was for an hour or two.
I don't think it was supposed to be that way. I think it was just going to be a couple people. It's going to be like Prime and I think Toxic. And then all of a sudden everyone's like, well, actually, I'm going to be around.
So
then you're like, I'll be around. I was like, well, shit, I'm going to be around.
And then Prime started talking to everybody at the Discord. And we're like, oh, we'll be around.
Boom.
Like,
everybody
So he started talking about it in the stream a few days and started pimping out. And then he did some random, like, promoting for it. And I do want to give one quick shout out to one special person in there.
Oh my, yes, Jesus, okay.
Next time. One human being who came from Prime stream.
Human being.
He was there pretty much the entire time, and there was at one point me and him were the only two playing. People had left. We were there by ourselves. And then after about a short period, I think King Cuddles came back, and then people started filtering kind of back in. And we didn't hit the numbers we probably did earlier on, but he was there the entire time that I streamed with me. That guy was hilarious. He was funny, and I followed him right away. I didn't know he was streaming. I had him co-stream with me, and we got a gaming bro for life. He was hilarious. Dude is awesome. So if you ever see him around, just quick shout out to one human being. He was a great time. New friend we made playing COD though. He had me laughing. He was hilarious.
Dude, he showed up immediately because he was first into the chat. Like he was one of the first people in the chat when we started streaming. And he was like, "Hey, can I play?" I was like, "Hell yeah, get in here, dude!" And he got in there and he hung out the entire day. You went 7.5 hours, dude.
Yeah, I would have kept playing, but dinner was coming home, so Daddy was ready for dinner.
Oh shit, yeah. I stopped playing because I had to take a dump.
Yeah.
So
well, depends.
Reasons. No, dude, Depends won't stop this.
No.
Depends won't save me from
that's right. Eggnog. What up?
Yeah, eggnog and a little bit of rum.
Why they drinking milk? This is the wholesome stream. Welcome, Pikachu.
Actually, with that tint, I would guess something else other than milk.
I mean, oh God. Disgusting.
Yeah. We don't have a cow. We have a bull. You guys ever see Kingpin?
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. It's that part where he's outside and he comes in. He's like, I took the liberty of milking your cow this morning. He's drinking a big old swig out of it. Like, we don't have a cow, we have a bull.
The part where he's puking in the toilet,
and
she's like, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what is good about good sex. It makes me have to take a crap. You really charge something loose
there, Tiger.
That's a great. No one ever told you that's a great movie.
My little Roy toy.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That lady is an awesome actress, by the way. Her name escapes me. She's actually in the.
Is she another Happy Madison shit too?
No. She's in I think it's Insidious movies. She's the poltergeist lady that comes in to clear the house.
Like it.
And she's also in what's the movie we're gonna see next month? The Grudge. She's in it.
Really?
She's her name escapes me. If anyone can look up her name, she's an excellent actress. She's really, really good. She does comedy, she does drama, she does horror. She's very talented.
Oh, nice. She's a whore. Cool. That's all I heard.
Kingpin quotes, "My night is complete." Man, dude, I could.
That's one that not a lot of people bring up. That's a very, very great. That when he's getting
underrated.
When he's getting the beers, Randy Quaid's getting the beers in his nipples.
Drastin, make it a point to see Kingpin.
Dude.
It's one of the last movies before Randy Quaid went absolutely fucking nuts.
Oh, he's completely fucking nuts.
We
can have a whole night chat about that.
He's a fucking loon. He thinks people are out to kill him. He thinks like there's a Hollywood hitman crew that's out to kill him, and it's just like, dude, why did Cousin Eddie have to lose his shit? Dude,
he lost his shit.
Yeah, he went cray. But no, seriously, it's got Woody Harrelson and Bill Murray. Oh my God, Bill Murray as not Roy Muntz. That's what's his name? Ernie McCracken. Big Ern. Just call me Big Ern. Okay, we gotta move on because we can talk about Kingpin all fucking night.
Lived my life by it.
So now, last week we had the Game Awards.
Right.
Big night. Jeff Keighley puts on a great show every year. I know people are indifferent about Jeff Keighley.
I'm definitely one of those guys, but yes.
Yep. Everyone's
That's
got a different opinion of Jeff Keighley, but the thing I always say is you can't question his ability to put together a hell of a show, and he loves video games.
Loyalty.
Yeah, he's loyal. He's loyal to whoever, but he's also just a big fan of bringing the gaming community together. He tries to push away the console war stuff for one night and kind of get everyone like last year when he had he had Reggie, he had Phil, and he had Sean on the stage at the same time. So that was really, really cool. But this year was strange because we had the Game Awards. Okay, we had the Game Awards, and we just out of nowhere we got two like next gen reveals. Okay, first we get this thing. All of a sudden, Phil Spencer hops on stage and he's like, "Yo, got a trailer here," and we get the Xbox Series X trailer
out of nowhere.
Yep. I did not expect to see anything hardware-wise.
Did anybody?
No, and I thought it was, okay, like, look, it was a cool reveal. It was a cool-looking trailer and what have you, and it's interesting and all that jazz. And, the design is there's a discussion to be had there regarding the design.
I want that discussion, Papa.
Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a moment. But, I just thought this was a very strange place to do your reveal for a system.
Right.
Because it was like a 5-minute window on the Game Awards. Now, look, the Game Awards are cool. They're great. I love them. It's not E3. No. It's not a big-time event. And it just seemed very strange that they kind of just shoved this in here into a 5-minute gap. Now, here's our system, and everything looked great. And then they showed Hellblade 2. I'm on board for that. Now, there's a discussion we had. Do we really need a sequel for Hellblade? I felt like that was a self-contained story. It was really, really good. It was dealing with health issues or mental health.
0 at the end of the check.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, once they bought up Ninja Theory, they're like, hey, look, we'll buy it, but we need a sequel.
Right.
And where they can go with this thing, I have no idea. I want to see it. I'm hyped to play it. The trailer was fucking nuts. Senua looks like she's on a different level of like mad now. Like she is. The chant that she was doing in the trailer was fucking bonkers. But I want to get your thoughts on this reveal. How we kind of just got this strange reveal at the Game Awards. Oh yeah, we got memes, baby. We got memes.
That's been probably the best part about it.
There's a lot of memes.
Yes, the SpongeBob one that I found recently last couple of days is probably my favorite, honestly. Well, honestly, this is gonna sound probably really crazy, but the beginning of that trailer and the things that we're doing that didn't make almost sense is very non-Microsoft typically. Very true. Felt very early PS3, which if you remember...
Oh my God, do you remember the baby one?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And like that shit, like, regardless of that gen, that stuff, like that kind of marketing is what always sticks. I'll never forget that shit.
I'll never forget the baby. That thing fucking
and you were like,
me.
what the fuck are you...
Yeah.
I
was like, what?
Yeah, it's got to be a BB from Death Stranding. That's another discussion too. But so I was like, kind of like when you're watching, like, what the fuck on? And then that you're like, okay, wow. And then you see it and you're like, what am I supposed to fucking sit on it? Like it's a thing, like, and it's fine if it wants to be a thing, but like, listen, they tried marketing the 360 to stand up back in the day, and it put laser burns in people's shit because gravity don't work like that, right? Like, gravity does not. You jar it and it's gonna wobble and there's a ring, or they fall over and like I don't remember anybody going out and buying a new some form of like digital receiver and say, oh, I hope that fucking thing can stand up on its side. Who the fuck has room for that on their entertainment center? So you look at that shit and you see, looking at it, that the fucking disc area is like this. It's like, why the fuck are you doing that? Right. Why do you fucking do that every time a new console comes out? Like, knock it off. Right, like, Sony does it too. Like, is it to make the picture better? Like, lay the fucking thing down, stop being dummies, and call it a day. Well, then after I saw that, then Phil Spencer did something, I think it was Polygon or The Verge, and said, yeah, you can lay it down, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well then, why'd you... Because that was half the joke. Was when you... Like, people are like looking like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing with that? Right. So, that said, I'm excited about it. I'm definitely excited about it. Like, why would you not? It's a new piece of hardware. Next gen.
Next gen hardware.
Get it, right? Like, let's get it. But
don't get me wrong. Like, I am really excited. I'm glad we got to see it. I'm glad we got to see the specs. This thing has a big dick.
Beefy.
It's a well-hung machine.
Yeah, very hung.
I'm not going to pretend I know what half of this shit means. But, here's the specs. Here's what we got. This was posted on Reset Era yesterday. This is what we know so far. There's obviously still some unknowns on there. That price is going to be an interesting discussion. When they talked this week, we found out that even though it's Xbox Series X, this thing is just going to be the Xbox. And Series X kind of allows them to have a multitude of a family of consoles that. Shut up, Siri. Look at Siri's talking because I said
Siri's
seriously.
talking to that. Why isn't Cortana? We're talking about Xbox, bro.
All right. That'd be funny if Siri's
Windows
like,
phone.
I don't like that
Windows
bitch.
phone. Haha. What is she doing? You guys hearing this?
Maria Romero, what are you talking about?
Turn your phone
She's
off.
drunk. I think
She's been sucking on the nog too.
But like seriously, when you look at this stuff here, I don't know anything about AMD Zen 2 based CPU. I have no idea what the fuck that means.
That's from the Matrix.
Yep, that's Matrix stuff. I can tell you, I know what 12 teraflops is. That's 2 times the amount of teraflops on an Xbox One X. I can tell you that's a beefy GPU.
I just think some floppy titties from the Voo.
Wow, we're going with it. Boy, man, I can't wait till you have your second drink. We've got the storage, which is the SSD drive. And seriously, they've heard report speeds of anywhere near 2 gigabytes per second. That's fast.
That's pretty.
Video support, 8K and 4K at 120 hertz. That's interesting. That's like PC shit. That's like PC stuff on a monitor. That's really good. Obviously, ports unknown. The color that we saw was the matte black. Price is unknown, and we know that it is coming out holiday 2020. But look, these memes were hilarious.
Oh, it's fun.
I mean, it was a good time. But at the end of the day, dude, this is going to be a strong system. This one right here, this meme right here, is hilarious. It's an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X, and then some. I think it was either Tidix or Zooge on Twitter posted that picture, and on the right is a PS5, but it's actually a refrigerator. And Zooge put it out, or one of those guys put it out and said, "Here's a report. This is the actual leak of the PS5. They're going for the same look as the Xbox." It was a joke. A fucking magazine, an online magazine, I don't know which one it was, actually ran an article that said, "Boy, look at this PlayStation 5 looks just like the Xbox One or the Xbox Series X." And
funny.
It's a reputable site from my understanding. I didn't get the name of it, but that was a joke, and they ran with it.
That's awesome.
They ran with it, and even Zooge or Tidix was like, he at them, he's like, "Guys, that's a refrigerator. That's a joke. We don't know what the PS5 looks like." And this site ran with it. They were like, "Oh, Zooge knows a lot. He's a well-informed insider." It was absolutely hilarious. I think they pulled the article at some point. It was absolutely hilarious. But we saw Hellblade 2. That looked really, really good. The specs on this thing is beefy. I just thought it was an odd way to reveal it. It was, like I said, 5 minutes at the Game Awards. It doesn't really get the center stage. Kind of like what we saw with the PlayStation 4 in February of 2014. They had that press event for themselves. They had a huge reveal for it, and it was an event just to themselves. So it kind of like there was nothing to share like the Game Awards and other things going on. It was just a strange place for them to do it. I don't think it's going to hurt anything. Microsoft is in a great position right now. They've got a beefy system coming out.
Yeah.
There's a lot. This thing can do a lot. We saw a modified controller. We're seeing the Xbox is going to have a new controller. It's going to have a share button. Looks like the D-pad has been altered a little bit. There's been a lot of changes to this Xbox
Which is crazy because I just bought the Elite Series 2 controller.
Yep, and there's no share button on it.
Fucking Christ.
I don't think there's a share button on that controller.
Got one too, right? That's your first. Isn't that version 1? Is that a version 2?
That's version 1.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if maybe this could be a share button at some point. Well, I mean, it isn't right now, but there's a button there that's not on this one. Oh, well, yeah, I'm talking about that.
Yeah, you don't.
So already, the Elite controller is behind
awesome.
the base model
But
controller.
like Prime's saying, that is a big deal. Having your games backwards compatible is important to a lot of people, and the accessories especially, because the biggest problem with these consoles and the hardware is buying more hardware to add on to them.
Yep.
Looking at you, Nintendo.
Right.
Or hey, Xbox. Have we talked about AA batteries in the last decade? Maybe get on that train, lithium ion.
Yeah, that'd be nice if that just became the regular there. So. Right. No, but yeah, it was a nice reveal. Cool. Hellblade 2 looks cool. The specs are strong. Now we play the waiting game. Yep. I gotta believe that Sony's gonna follow suit what they did last gen. Sometime in February, we're gonna get the press is gonna start getting their invites. Come to a Sony event in February to get a first-hand look at the PlayStation 5. We'll find out more about what that can do, and then it's gonna be a waiting game on who wants to show their hand first when it comes to the price. That E3 is when that price will get. We'll discuss the price. Will there be different SKUs? Will there be different models, different variations? Will there be a weaker one, a stronger one? This gen opened up a can of worms that we could see it evolve quite a bit this next gen.
Yep, I think there's a lot of great stuff being brought up too. Like Prime, bought a battery pack on launch and haven't needed anything since. That's great. Good for you, buddy. Hey, it's awesome. Say hello to your mother for me. The next Xbox for HDMI, CP. See, questions like that are important. all that kind of stuff. Like, is it? Do we know? And I'm gonna guess yes, Hatchet Man. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a $500 system. I think the next one's. I think we're looking at either 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 because the rumors are there's gonna be 2.
Oh yeah. They've already discussed. There's the Scarlet.
If they did 700, you might as well buy a PC. They won't hit 700.
Stormy thinks 600. Man, I tell you what, man. Do I hear 8?
Going.
It's interesting, man, because obviously these systems are more expensive. They're gonna have some big parts in it, but you gotta look back at the disaster that was the PS3 when they launched that 80 gig model for $599. And it was a shit show.
Oh yeah.
People were. It crushed that system out of the gate. Like as soon as the 60.
That's what happened to the Xbox One this gen though too.
Yep.
The $100 extra price tag opposed to the PS4.
Yeah, it hurts. You
really got to think about.
You got to wonder how much stuff they can stick in these systems before you got to really start thinking what kind of a loss. But again, Xbox could probably come out there and say, "Hey, look, $499, we're going to lose a lot, but Game Pass is doing just fine."
Exactly. Honestly,
we're making a lot of money on Game Pass and Live.
Technology is in some ways, I think, cheaper now to build this harder, this high end stuff than it was then. So who knows? I think that's good. That's really the rating game. Let's see what the PS5 is going to do. Let's see those price points.
Yep, and software is king for these publishers, for Microsoft, for Nintendo, and Sony. I mean, they take a hit on the systems at launch. They lose a little bit of money on, but they make them back tenfold. Throughout the course of the generation with the software and all that stuff. So
Game Pass taking over.
Game Pass is Microsoft's probably got a lot of wiggle room. Plus, they have a fucking boatload of money.
Well,
that's
a gold mine. I could talk Game Pass is brilliant.
But no, very very cool. It was just a weird time for them to reveal it. More to come throughout the rest of 2020. Man, I can't believe it, dude. We are seriously, honestly, if it's December, we're less than a year away from new consoles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Less than a year from new consoles, dude.
Yeah, man.
PS5 and
exciting.
It's
exciting. It's always exciting.
I love it, man. I am a whore for hardware. I will seriously.
I've seen everything behind the screen.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of shit in this basement, dude. And I gotta have that new hotness. I have to have it. Yeah. I gotta see what this is. Like next fall, I have to see what Halo Infinite looks like on the Xbox Series X. I have to see what it looks like. So I will definitely be all over that shit, much to my wife's chagrin. All right, moving on. We have to talk about trailers.
Yeah.
We had a couple of trailers dropped these last 2 weeks. We're going to talk about the most recent one right now because it's hot. Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun, bro.
We got to see a new trailer, Top Gun.
Now, I told you, and I know I told you, I've told a few people, I had 80% of this. I got the VHS tape somewhere in a tub. I had 80% of this movie quotable as a kid. We had a game at school that I started. It was on the swing sets. We'd play Top Gun. We'd be Maverick. Everybody would fight over Maverick and Goose, right? All that stuff. But you'd play Hollywood or all these guys, Wolfman. But
who wants to be Merlin?
Just as dead.
That's Tim Robbins. Merlin was Tim Robbins.
Yeah. But he was Tim Robbins. That's right. But we would swing in the swings, and the whole thing is oh, somebody just got shot, so you have to jump out and you're parachuting out. That was our shit. So Top Gun was big for me, and when they said they were coming back around to this, which has been hinted for a long time or wanted for a long time, I love the NES game and I will fight everybody on. I love the NES game. I can land that plane and I beat that game. That's a great game on NES. Good drop though. But yeah, this was exciting to see it finally. And we all know when they created the first one, it was a big deal because they worked directly with the Air Force and the Navy and all this shit, and they did it again.
Yeah, and you can tell they were they took it to the next level.
Oh yeah,
from what we've seen in these trailers so
far.
I mean, this trailer right here, dude. Tom Cruise has kind of gone through this phase now with his last couple of movies where he is. If he does a movie, he wants it. He's big on authenticity. He wants things to be very authentic. Like in Mission Impossible Fallout, he is flying a helicopter in that movie.
Crazy.
Which is nuts. He is actually flying. Every scene that you see him flying in the helicopter, he is flying a helicopter through this movie. It's bonkers. And there's so many scenes in this trailer where you have to believe. Or you got to wonder, is he flying a fucking jet?
Has anybody said anything whether he is or not? Do we know?
I haven't seen it. I haven't read anything yet. But, man, there's just a couple of scenes, man, especially where he's taking off from the aircraft carrier. It's the little details. It's the little details where he's taking off the aircraft carrier. And once he comes off, the plane drops a little bit. Because once you hit, you're over water. You're gonna.
How many tons, right?
I've never seen that in a movie. And when I saw that in the trailer, I was like, man, is he fucking in this jet flying for real?
I'll bet he is.
It was just, but I mean, this movie, look, there's a lot of things you can glean from this trailer. There's a lot of things that had me wondering. First of all, he's training to where he can fly. He's a part of the Space Force because at the end of the thing, he's in fucking space. But
Right.
you know, when I watch this trailer, man, first of all, this movie is going for best cinematography.
Yeah.
If you the shots that they have in this trailer are incredible. Some of the aerodynamic shots they have taken are absolutely incredible. So I'm really excited to see.
Even more compared to like the first movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously times have changed, things have evolved. It's just a lot better. So I'm really excited to check this out. But there's a couple things in this trailer I want to talk about. You know, we see a lot of the action. The stuff looks fucking sweet, but at the same time, I kind of got that feeling like, is this another Force Awakens type scenario
God,
where
I hope not on that sense?
It's going to feel
what you're
very similar.
Yeah.
Because Christ, you got this kid looks like Goose,
it has to be
right?
Goose's
That's
son.
Goose's
that's
kid.
Anthony Edwards'
That's
son, right?
Goose's kid. If that's not Goose's kid, this movie fucking sucks.
Right.
Because they're just gonna make him look like Goose. So.
Right.
That you kind of get an idea. Okay, this has to be a story. Maverick comes into back to Top Gun, doing a part of training. What's that?
Miramar.
What's that?
That's where it's at, Miramar.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's what I meant.
Same.
Yeah, you fucking know all this stuff. You're such a dork. But yeah, obviously he does have. It has to be his kid. He had kids in the first one. He had a son. So this is obviously his son. His son seems like a hothead.
That's right. You did see him too.
Yeah,
That's right.
we saw his kid when he was playing the piano at the restaurant. His kid's right there.
Yeah, duh.
But this has to be Goose's kid. They have to, and I'm sure Goose's kid probably has some resentment towards Maverick because Dad died while you were flying and what have you. So you've got that chemistry, or you've got that what's the word I'm looking for? You've got that the trouble between characters. You got a problem there. Maverick's gonna be at odds with Goose's kid.
Right. He blames him for his death, probably.
Yeah, blames for his death, and maybe and you mentioned Goose's kid's probably a hot shot like Maverick was.
That's
so now
my guess. That'd be a cool story.
I mean, you kind of get that. That'd be kind of a cool approach for him to like try to, coach down Maverick or Goose from Mount. I mean, you got a fucking beach volleyball scene. Now there's another part where I'm just like, is this going?
Kenny
to be...
Loggins better be doing the fucking soundtrack.
Dude, Kenny Loggins better be signing on and doing it all, the entire soundtrack. Is that just straight liquor on the top?
With the boys.
Oh my god! Like I don't even get to the eggnog and I'm already shit faced.
I put some rum in it before I put.
You would be the worst bartender ever. You're hired.
Just finger your noggin. Shut up.
Oh my god.
Oops.
Wow.
That second one's a little stronger.
Holy shit, dude. Did you pour
Oh,
the rest
boy.
of it in there?
I don't know.
Oh my
Just
god.
drinking. Shut up. You're good.
But no, man. What's your take on this trailer, man? Like I said, I know you're a big fan of Top Gun, and we're excited to see where this goes. There's a lot of this that looks really, really good. The action's going to be there.
I'll be honest, because this came out of left field, because I kind of forgot about it. I mean, there's always so much going on with movies, games, and this and whatever. I guess I didn't know that we were gonna get a trailer so soon.
Right.
For one. And I'll be honest with you, I think I got hold of all the tots in the morning in our chat. And I was like, "Have you seen the fucking trailer?" It was posted. I remember. I'll never forget. 13 minutes on Facebook when it was posted, and I shit my pants off because I was so excited. I was like rocketing off, But
he was excited.
I was really excited. I'm really excited. I think I'm hoping it's not the Force Awakens thing where it's more like a shades of like a reimagining. I've got a feeling it's not going to be. I think it's going to be more of a actual standalone sequel to it.
Right.
There might be some callbacks to it, and there always is, and that's good.
Mm-hmm.
But having a 1-for-1 of the story, no, I think it's going to be Maverick's going to mentor Goose's son, and if we get that one line, and we're not going to get the line, but I'm going to do the line for you. Flying rubber dog shit out of a cargo plane to Hong Kong. One of the greatest lines in any fucking movie ever. In the first 10 minutes of the original movie. If I can get that quote in that movie, it's going to win an Oscar.
Oh, wow. Look at Prime. You should have put blue food coloring in the eggnog and called it Bantha Milk from the Star Wars chat.
All right. We're going offline. Fuck this. I ain't doing it. You're right.
Oh, man. And does he drink? He goes,
I may have put some rum in your...
Oh, boy. That is just straight rum on the top.
Jesus, somebody else milk the bowl, please.
So, yeah, it sounds like the chat is excited for Top Gun. I mean, it looks good, dude. It looks really, really good. Like, I'm really excited for it. Tom Cruise, like I said, he's a very serious actor. He commits to his roles. Maverick is, an iconic character from the 80s. But, man, I tell you what, man, the thing I'm really excited about, though, is just I want to see the camera work in this movie. Like, it just looks incredible. It looks like it's going to be an incredibly well-shot movie. Hype.
Definitely.
That's an IMAX movie.
Dude.
That's an IMAX movie.
Good idea.
Oh, hell
We
yeah,
may
it's
have
a
to
good
go see
idea.
that IMAX then.
Yeah. Those are the only ideas I have. The only kind I have.
Deal.
Awesome.
I'm into it.
All right. So
They're inverted.
They were inverted. So yeah, okay. So we had Top Gun. But now, last week,
Oh God,
this trailer. Okay, there's a lot I want to talk about with this trailer. There's a lot going on that were going on with this trailer. In the trailer, and there's a lot of discussion going on afterwards about the trailer itself. But that is Ghostbusters.
You gonna call
Afterlife? Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's who I'm gonna call. This trailer, in my opinion, was fucking sweet. Okay, it was fucking sweet. I absolutely loved this trailer. And I won't even lie to you, there's a certain part in this trailer where I was watching it, I got misty-eyed. And it's coming up, and I'm serious, man, like, because Ghostbusters was a huge part of my childhood. I was committed to that movie. I was committed. I can't even tell you how many fucking times I watched that movie when we finally got it on VHS.
It's awesome.
Non-stop Ghostbusters. Loved it, okay? But this trailer was exceptional because, you know, well, here, let me go back. A lot of people talked about this trailer. They weren't happy about the fact that we didn't see the original cast. There was a lot of people that weren't happy that we didn't get that humor that is associated with Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters, for all intents and purposes, is one of the funniest movies of the 80s.
Yeah.
One of the best,
One-liners.
funniest movies of the 80s. Laugh out loud from start to finish. But I don't think either of those would have worked in this trailer.
No, I agree.
They're trying to make amends. Okay, look, 2016 Ghostbusters, there's no secret. It was widely hated.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody liked it. I liked the girls. I thought they were good, but I thought that was the only thing good about it. They're all hilarious. They're all fantastic actresses. It was the material was shit. It was a reboot. Nobody wants a fucking reboot with Ghostbusters.
No.
And even the original characters were used in shitty-ass cameos. It was a fucking stupid movie. Okay, it was stupid, and I felt bad for the girls because those four women are hilarious.
They're hilarious.
They're hilarious.
Jesus, they're fucking
but when you
grand.
get shitty material, you can only do so much as an actress or actor. You can only do so
not
much.
Their fault.
So now we jump ahead to this. We get this trailer that it felt a lot like Stranger Things. It almost felt like E.T. That scene where when Finn walks out of the house, it looks like the fucking backyard.
You get that 80s
Elliot's
feel
walking
too.
Yes. You know, when I watched the trailer, I actually got a feeling of. Did you ever see Super 8? By J.J. Abrams?
Hell yes. Yeah. Underrated.
Yeah, that's what I got from the trailer, and I was like, you know what? I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with this 80s family movie, da-da-da-da. But the reason I just don't think that you could make this a slapstick or go for the humor and the laughs is it just wouldn't work in this trailer because they pay a huge respect to Spengler.
Yeah.
Not only is Spengler not just going to be a bust in the hallway like in the 2016 Ghostbusters, just a bust. That's all we got. There's Egon's head on a bust, and that's it. He is an integral part of the story.
And as we were talking beforehand.
Yeah, a huge part of this story.
Yep.
And that is awesome. The fact that he is kind of the catalyst behind all of this. He is the revolving door that is getting us through to the next chapter of the series. I love that. That is such an ode of respect from Reitman to the late great Harold Ramis. Okay,
absolutely.
So this trailer was supposed to be a heartfelt trailer. It was supposed to build up kind of emotion, nostalgia to the fans. Now, closer to launch, when the movie comes out, when we get closer to the release of the movie, that's when we need to see the original Ghostbusters.
That's when you know you're going to.
Because I don't think that would have worked in this trailer because we're still 6-7 months out.
Right.
And these movies now, shit, dude, they're only in the theaters for like 2 fucking months. Joker just came out yesterday.
Digitally.
On digital, 2 months after launch.
Yeah.
So they only have a small window to really make as much money as possible before the movie's no longer relevant. So you can't release a trailer with Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver, Annie Potts, and Ernie Hudson. You can't do that right now. You got to wait closer to launch to build up that hype, to get people excited. And when you do that trailer, that's when you show the laugh.
That's when you bring it
That's when you bring in the comedy. Yep. And that's how you generate that buzz, so it makes as much money as possible out the gate. Get the fans excited
absolutely
again.
Agree with everything you've said about that. I know we were talking about that beforehand. I definitely agree with everything about that.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's a good way to do it because you want it's almost like you don't maybe expect another Ghostbuster trailer to be either dark or grounded in reality so much.
No.
But we know we're gonna get there. We know Ghostbusters is definitely a kind of a comedy, whatever you want to call it, and it's gonna get there. But this was just a good way to say, look what we're doing. Mm-hmm. There's some serious undertones and stuff here, and like you said, it's almost like a homage to Harold Ramis. But when you start pulling back some of the Easter eggs in that little trailer too,
dude, there's a lot in this trailer.
Hatchet Man brought it up too.
Did you already bring up Shandor?
He already did. Yeah.
Did he bring it up?
Yep.
Yeah, dude.
That mining company.
That mining company is huge.
Yeah.
Because Shandor if you and I remember correctly, that is the architect of Dana Barrett's building.
Right, that had that special metal that Egon's talking about.
That would like.
And had the cult in the 1920s.
Yes.
And you see on the mining company established
Shandor Mining,
established 1927.
So now that makes you wonder: is Egon going to have an even bigger part?
Did he know something before his death?
He had to have.
He
moved there because she mentions, "Hey, look, this my grandpa used to live here. Yeah. He died." And dude, they're obviously right there where this mining thing is, and it's Shandor Mining. Yeah. So there's a huge connection, and I didn't even notice that in the trailer until you told me.
Right.
You mentioned, I was like, holy fuck, I didn't even put two together. That's Shandor, because that's not, I didn't remember that name. But yeah, when it shows that, now you just gotta wonder, how much did Egon know?
Well, the question would be in that sense, like, so did Egon figure out after the original couple movies that there was either he found the mine where the mine was clearly, but like in the cult and all this stuff, like what's going on there? Like, is everything that's going on? I mean, they were sitting above that thing underground. Things are happening, right? Well, that's where they got all the fucking metals from. And if it's something that attracts spiritual whatever,
there it is.
You know what I mean? So it's all tying into like that. And did Egon know that? And clearly he did. But he clearly didn't have the sight to know that his grandkids would probably take it over. But he did leave it to them.
Yep.
It's almost like he's leaving breadcrumbs for the next generation of Ghostbusters.
Yep. And that's I mean, that's awesome. Paul Rudd is obviously like assigned. He's a teacher, but he also deals with seismology.
Yeah.
So obviously he's got that scientist vibe going. Paul Rudd is a perfect fit for the Ghostbusters universe.
Absolutely.
He's got a perfect fit for it. So you got the kids, and obviously we already know that Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson have all signed on. They're all going to be there, so they're going to be a part of that. Passing of the torch. I just can't see the kids running around with proton packs. I don't think that's what we'll get here. I think what we'll get is Paul Rudd will be involved, but then Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson,
somehow they're going to show up,
wear the gear, and kind of like be there to help out and kind of get the kids ready to take over somewhere down the line. Because obviously we saw in the trailer, we saw the kids driving around in the car. I got to imagine at some point that's where Bill Murray and
Jason Slimer.
Yeah, they're going to show up and be like, hey, can't just fucking drive around town in this car and shoot shit up.
Right.
And that's where they'll kind of take over and begin their mentoring of the kids and what have you. So there's a lot of ways they could take this movie. Obviously, Jason Reitman, he's a talented writer. He's written a couple of good movies in the past. Excuse me, I was reading up on them, but they're not huge movies, but they're well known for the writing. So he's obviously a very talented writer and a director. So really, really excited for this movie. It was a great trailer. But yeah, Ray Parker's song does not work in this trailer.
Not in this trailer.
No, not in this one. In the next one, absolutely. But Ray Parker's song does not work here. The original cast members don't work here. None of that stuff works here because that's not what this trailer was about.
Oh.
We'll get
there.
What did Atomic ask for? Why did it change autocorrect garbage? I don't know what he typed. Cross streams the prime one. Oh my.
Dang.
Jeez.
Talking about.
This is a nasty ass chat tonight. You guys are gross. I love it.
Rock made a proton pack out of a shoebox and vacuum tubes.
That's effective. It's efficient, cheap. I'm sure.
Also, you can use.
Oh my god! Of course, you always gotta ruin things. Ruin things.
Saying.
But no, dude, it was a great trailer. Really, really excited to check out Ghostbusters. That next trailer, has to have the original cast. Now, if the original cast doesn't show up in the next trailer before launch, now I'm concerned.
Right.
Now I'm fucking concerned.
I just want to see Bill Murray.
I just want to see Bill Murray. That's all I want to see. I want to see Venkman and Ray Stantz and Winston Zeddemore. That's all I want to see.
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts.
We got one.
Yeah. I think her name was Janine Melnitz. So, anyways, done with the trailers.
Garoppolo.
On to reason we're here.
You know
Big
what?
News of the week.
Punch it, dude.
All right. You know what? We're gonna go talk somewhere a little bit more appropriate. Oh, hang on. Woo! Here we go.
There we are. This is much better.
This is much better,
Take
Ray.
some Java juice, yo.
Yeah, can I top me off over here, please?
Top me off.
So, here we are. Where we at? Let everyone know where we're at. Let everyone know.
We are back in Maz Eisley's Cantina, and we're back there, slaving away as always.
He's such an ornery old cuss.
He is.
Eric doesn't like me.
No, he don't like droids.
Mm-mm.
Serve your kind here.
He told me to leave mine outside. But, dude, a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things right now, the first thing I want to touch on, before we get into the other things that you're curious about, because you have a lot of like theories that or questions about what we're going to get answers to. But one thing I want to touch on really quick is the reviews have started coming out.
Oh, man.
For Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like you. I don't like you either.
Right.
But sitting on Rotten Tomatoes right now, a 58%.
No.
Which is not ideal for a movie. Obviously, Cats is at 14%, so not a total disaster like Cats.
Have you seen them? They look awkward.
That looks really, really
Looks
weird.
awkward.
Looks like a weird movie. But there's one thing you brought up really quick.
Right.
As soon as we saw that score, you were like, well, remember, The Last Jedi got
Critics gave it a huge
like
score.
a 98 score.
A lot of the
But
half the fans were
man,
not feeling
fucking
it.
everyone hated it. So now is this going to be an instance where the critics are kind of like, nah?
Well, it's odd to point out that both movies so far on their ratings are very polarizing. Very polarizing.
Very, very polarizing. I love you. That's for you, Prime. But yeah, very, very strange to see the reviews where they're at right now. I know it's all at the top. Did you even put eggnog in that?
I put more rum in it, and I didn't mean. I thought it was going.
Here we go. Yep, he's gonna fucking throw up everywhere.
Full
Should be
milk.
awesome.
Yep.
But overall, though, I mean, obviously, are you concerned about the reviews, or is it like I don't give a fuck? I'm going to see this movie.
Yeah, so I'm one of the few that actually did overall enjoy. I don't know if few. I think it's half. And I don't even care anymore. I know Rock will speak to it too. Me and him are definitely, we agree to disagree on how we feel about the movies. Drassen is more like me. He actually liked Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
I like Last Jedi. I love it over time. I don't know if I've really ever truly loved it as much. I think it's lessened more over time, Drassen, for me, but at the same time, like, I still like it. I like it a lot. It's a good Star Wars entry. Now, was it right for the saga? Was it right for the series? I think it tries to be a little bit more than Star Wars, and I think that's part of the problem. Is sometimes you don't need to try and reinvent your whole wheel,
Right.
And while I think singularly it almost works by itself, but it doesn't work in the middle of a trilogy, and that's part of the problem. Now, there are definitely things about the movie I can be very critical about or whatever. Definitely it's no Empire Strikes Back, but not a lot of movies are there.
Nope.
Atomic.
Nope.
I can watch that over and over. That does stand alone as a good film by itself, for the record, even if you didn't have two ends on it. It's just a really good movie. But so for me, like, I'm going into this I don't want to be hesitant, or definitely being a lot of objective, because some of the stuff I've read is that it's a lot of meat on the bone, but is it the right meat?
Right.
Things like that. So, I'm still optimistic about it. I'm excited about it. I'll always be excited about a Star Wars entry. A bad Star Wars. I mean, Drassen will tell you all day. Like, he actually read that somebody said that this was the worst Star Wars entry, and he said, "Well, as long as Phantom Menace exists, that's not a true statement." And I can't disagree with him on that one. Honestly,
Yeah.
like, there's great parts about Phantom Menace that over time I've grown to really truly love and dislike less, or however. But Jar Jar ruins that entire experience for me, honestly. But yes, I'm excited about the movie still. There's a lot going back on. People are back and forth about it right now. I'm definitely not trying to defend myself or criticize anybody for liking The Last Jedi. Everybody's going to get their own feelings on it. I'm excited for Rise of Skywalker tomorrow, and I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. Now, we're not going to talk about leaks or spoilers. I know pretty much Rock has a pretty good pulse on all of it. But I do have some things I want to talk about, speculate, and think about, and maybe get everybody's opinion or thoughts on as well too. Honestly, so honestly, for me, a big one would be the big one. I think really the big question for at least me, and maybe for other folks that are fans of the series, is how long has Palpatine been pulling strings?
Right. That's a big character. When we all heard that laugh,
Right,
after the first trailer, everyone was like, "What?"
Right.
Because you can't just bring him back just to have him be here because we needed a villain. There has to be an overarching story. How much could he have been at play with A Force Awakens and The Last Jedi? How much of this is he responsible for?
Right.
That's an interesting question. And I mean, how much? Like, do you think it's going to be deep, or do you think like
there's a lot of back and forth with some of the stuff that you hear about Kathleen Kennedy and about Bob Iger and how Disney's been what they wanted to do, what they wanted to write. I was under the impression that somebody come forth and said, "I want to sit down and write a serious story before we go to the chalkboard and start jotting stuff down." And they were like, "Nah, we want to get this stuff out," which I almost kind of feel like that's true, because why would you have a series set up, a trilogy, and just pretty much have one guy do the first one, and then here's another guy do the third one, and like this, like to me, it almost seems like you can kind of tell to a degree, because definitely between JJ's movie and Rian Johnson's, they are very much different. And again, I don't believe what Rian was trying to do was necessarily wrong. I just don't think maybe it fit in Star Wars.
The execution might not have been there.
They were very meta about things, and they were trying. He was trying to be existential, and I like that kind of thinking. I like that kind of bigger thought, but it sometimes just doesn't fit in certain things. And I think that was part of the problem. You want that spaghetti Western feel. You want sometimes even almost that campiness, I think, but
do you think, and I don't mean to cut you off, I want to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
this real quick before we go to the next point. Do you think the steps and the choices that Rian Johnson made have made things a little bit more difficult for J.J. Abrams to kind of like clean things up and maybe that's part of why we're seeing like a lot of these reviews saying that it's more fan service, there's not a lot of meat on the bone, it's not the right meat. Do you think that is because J.J. Abrams is limited to what he can do after what because Star Wars is always about that continuity. Everything has to connect, everything has to make sense. How much can J.J. Abrams really deviate from the story before it becomes like, I'm not buying it?
I think the ultimate goal. I think it's made it challenging. I think the ultimate goal for, we'll say, Disney was when they bought it, they had Star Wars. Okay, they bought the name, but I don't think they really thought about the fandom and how deep and how much that matters. What they wanted to do is they wanted to do something that was their own story and property of it. And they wanted to bring in the old characters because that brings some familiarity and they bring people back and get fans excited, right? And it works. Like Han's death worked. It was smart. He was supposed to die in the original trilogy.
He wanted to die.
He wanted to, and it made sense in this movie. It was good. It made Kylo even more like emotional for that.
And you hated him more.
There's a lot of good reasons for him.
You could tell he was a conflicted character, but at the end of the day, he's supposed to be the antagonist. Yeah. So you had to have him do something where you're going to have all the fans like, man, you motherfucker, you just killed off Han.
Even the lighting in that entire scene when they're sitting
awesome.
there, the lighting goes red, like everything about it. It was very symbolic, and that's cool. And like we can sit here and talk about a lot of things Star Wars, and I can keep going on, even about, the movie was basically A New Hope kind of mixed with some Empire and this, that, and the other. But, the whole bottom line of it is it just, Disney wanted to do their own thing. And there are things that I do concede a little bit more to Rock on this as well, too, is that characters like Luke. Now we're not going to agree everything on Luke. I know me and him won't. And
sorry, Carlos. Spoiler alert.
He didn't shoot first that time, buddy. Sorry. He where was I going with that? It made me laugh too much.
God damn it, Cuddles.
Fucking Cuddles, you would do that to me.
You're like that Clark asshole.
Right. No, Luke should have been in this movie. I think the thing he did in Sacrifice, I think where he was as a character, it was fine for me. I think the problem is that everybody associates, they want the old EU, they wanted young Luke, they want him to act like Anakin, and he was 70 fucking years old. It's not happening. Sorry, guys. Like, it's just not.
Right.
Like, we're past that time frame.
Yep.
If they'd have done the movie like 10 years ago, or maybe even 20, maybe right after the prequels, sure, that might have worked better. We showed the new Jedi Academy or whatever. But the problem is that overall, Disney just wanted to be able to have a piece of Star Wars to say, this is our Star Wars, etc. We're moving forward.
Right.
And that's fine. However, they just didn't do enough to the actual fans. Now, so here we are, Rise of Skywalker, after The Last Jedi was polarizing. And now Rise of Skywalker is already polarizing. I'm still excited about it. Who knows where it's going to go? We got Palps back. How long has he been doing this stuff?
Right.
Where are we going?
Right.
And is it going to make sense? JJ said originally they weren't doing any retcons. Well, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some form of retcons over some certain characters.
Well, I mean, there's a whole lot of shit they have to cover in this movie.
And that's just it. And that's what people are saying. That there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of meat in there. They say it's a beefy movie. Like, start to finish, it's a lot going on. And it's almost because, like, he didn't almost have a choice, to a degree. And it's unfortunate that maybe it's not what everybody wants, but some of us still enjoy Star Wars just for being Star Wars. And a bad Star Wars, even if it's the Phantom Menace, is still Star Wars and you still love it. It is, after all, the Holy Saga.
There you go.
So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So some other things that I'm very curious about too. Is
good question.
What's that? We got a question? Yeah, let's.
The chosen one is Anakin. So does he rise?
I I've got a hope and feeling that we might see a blue glowy of Hayden Christensen because he's kind of been in the spotlight recently. We'll see. Well, I know, but
Jesus Christ,
I will. That's what I think Rock is concerned about is like depending on where they go at the end and what happens in the end, does it make the early Skywalker prophecies and lineage irrelevant? Mm-hmm. We're getting to that, Prime. You just worry about it in a second. So yeah, a lot of those questions, and some of us don't know till tomorrow. Like I said, the leaks are out there. If you can find them, if you want them, but I decided not to this time, and that's usually rare for me. But so one of the things, as far as like the story and everything, is Rey's lineage. They said in the last one she
nobody,
no parents.
Yep, nobody.
Which honestly, either way they decide to go with that, I'm fine with. But I kind of like the idea of families are big and bloodlines are big in Star Wars, so it would make more sense. However, there's always been especially in the old EU, thing about clones.
Yep.
And they say when she saw her vision that she could that was showing that she's just a clone. Who is she a clone of? Is she a clone of Palps? Is she a clone of a Skywalker, a Kenobi, Yoda? Like, how is I haven't seen the latest Mandalorian, but how does that tie in too? Because we don't know anything about the Yoda clone and stuff like that. So, I'm curious to find out what's her true lineage. Like, what are we gonna see from her? You know what I mean? So, Rock's got there's some big words there. I feel like there's three types of Star Wars fans: those that hate it no matter what, those that enjoy anything they put out, and those who are in the middle and can have a decent conversation. I try to find myself like in the middle and kind of.
I feel like I'm a mixture of the last
middle excited. I can critique. Like I'm not gonna be like, especially over time. I can definitely critique The Last Jedi pretty seriously in some areas. But I still enjoy and love Star Wars. I'm playing Battlefront 2 this week. Right. I'm still excited about Rise of Skywalker. I don't hate.
Speaking of enjoying total shit, I mean, you've been playing the hell out of Battlefront 2. So, obviously your love for Star Wars. Yeah.
Right. So that's where I feel like I am mostly in the middle. I think Rock Mercury pretty much just hates everything anymore. So he's just kind of in the hate zone.
You're so angry, Rock.
Yeah. Yeah, we do. And Rock and I don't agree, but we have good open conversations, and it's never like we never get personal, we never get mad about it each other. And we're usually at ends about some of it. So, but yeah, that's I think that's a good point. I think there are three types of fans.
I feel like that Rey's true lineage is one of those topics that's going to be very difficult for J.J. Abrams to kind of get through to whatever the reveal is, because Rian Johnson made it a point to really emphasize not only when Kylo said you come from nobody, your parents were nobodies, you're nobody, and then at the end he got the one kid who can force the broom over to him to really emphasize anybody can be.
Yeah, and at the same time though too, like Kylo was trying to seduce her to the dark side theoretically,
right?
And that's all about lies and deceit, and even him piecing out Snoke, I agree that we should have more backstory in Snoke before he got pieced out. But
that was really lame.
But I also agree if you want to make that character potentially a big villain, just like anything in the rule of two, you piece out the fucking teacher and the student becomes a teacher. So that's a good. If you want Kylo to be your theoretical villain for the last movie,
that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it. He pieces them out, and it don't fucking matter. And you move along. It's a stepping stone. Yep. So there that is. But
yes, Atomic, even you could be a Jedi.
That's correct.
Just go outside and will that fucking broom over to your hand, and when it happens, you're a Jedi. Yes. Congratulations. But yeah, that's the next point you want to talk about is can Kylo Ren be saved?
Ben Solo, Kylo Ren be saved? And I don't want to say things outside of too much into my speculation because I don't want to potentially ruin stuff for people. Like I said, I haven't read leaks, so I don't know. I will say that I think there's potential for that to happen. I kind of want that. I feel like it's been the entire time because you had Anakin, who was being completely pulled by the dark side the entire movies, and Empire is kind of more like that grayish area, kind of. And then you get to the sequel trilogy, and it's almost like I want to say they focus a lot on the light side pull of it. So it's you see Kylo who wants the power of the dark side because he wants power. He wants to. I will show you the dark side. And I will finish what you have started, grandfather.
Sounds just like Adam Driver.
That's what I should. The light is pulling him, which is weird.
Right.
He wants that dark, he wants that power, but he's fighting the light side, which usually you think it's the opposite. So I think there's potential for him to be saved, and I kind of hope he does. He is the son of Han Solo and Leia Organa, but.
And you've seen that from all the antagonists from all the previous trilogies. I mean, you kind of see them all have that redemption arc where they're kind of like...
And redemption can come both ways, realistically.
That's true.
Like,
That's valid.
They can sway back and forth a couple of times. I mean, look at Anakin. Anakin was an innocent kid who was, he missed his mom, and it was back and forth the entire time. And then in the end, he was the one. If he truly fulfilled the prophecy, he was the one that threw Palps down the big shaft on the
Oh my
Death Star.
Good Lord.
So, yes. So some of the last few questions, and I'm going to flip points. And yes, somebody brought it up. Prime, I believe, said, what character was JJ alluding to this week? And a lot of people are speculating and wondering.
What did he say again? He said,
I don't remember verbatim what he said. Yeah, if Revan is involved, then yeah, I'm going to be boned out in the theater. He mentioned something about a character that was, I don't remember exactly how he said it, but it made it sound like that some lady character from either another piece of work was going to either be in it or get a mention, and everybody's speculating Ahsoka. And now I'm a huge fan of that character. I love Clone Wars, and I extra loved Rebels, and she played integral parts in both, and she played big parts just because it's a great character. It's a leading lady character, which is awesome.
Because I'm gonna be one of those guys. I never saw those, so I don't know who that.
Sure.
Like, what's her role?
She was actually Anakin's Padawan during the Clone Wars.
Okay.
Because you never see in the movies.
Right.
And she ended up, by the end of Clone Wars, leaves the Jedi Order because she kind of like how Qui-Gon was rebellious. She kind of saw a little bit through their bullshit, and they tried to blame her for something and wouldn't believe her, and she said, I'm gone. And she kind of did her own thing, and there's the whole theories of like Luke in the last movie being a Grey Jedi and the Grey Jedi, which really isn't canon, which is unfortunate because it's a really cool concept, which is, you kind of almost walk kind of in between, because Mace Windu would be like the character who's kind of gray, because his lightsaber style, the reason they say he's purple is because red plus blue equals purple.
Right.
He uses a little bit of the dark side for his type of lightsaber stance and etc. and whatever. So she dual wields 2 lightsabers, which is dope.
Really?
And
Nice.
they're whitish gray, which they say is when a red kyber crystal for the red lightsaber for Sith gets turned back into a light side or good crystal. That's the color it is that white and gray color. Yeah, you could the book, yeah. So anyway, she's real popular. She came into Rebels out of nowhere. And she plays in, and I will tell everybody this, and I mean this, the finale season 2 of Rebels is as awesome, if not more, than the ending that happened in Rogue One. Something very huge and very similar happens with that character, and it's unbelievable.
Really?
And it's one of the most amazing. Rebels is one of the most amazing pieces of Star Wars, anything that exists, that probably only half of us has seen, hands down. Rebels is amazing. Rebels is the true heart of Star Wars. That's why Mandalorian's so good. Dave Filoni did all those and stuff like that. So that's why it's so good. Yeah, the Vader comics have been really spot on too recently. So, but yeah, you like Clone Wars better. That's interesting to hear that. Yeah. But Rebels, Rebels really gets into that exploration. And it's less characters, and because the thing I think what made Rebels interesting is like characters like Ahsoka when she comes back around, or Ezra Bridger and some of these characters, and Kanan Jarrus is like, they're just not characters that you normally deal with. Like when you're watching Clone Wars, it's like an extension of like the prequels, and it made me appreciate the prequels more. Whereas like a character like
fills
Ahsoka,
in the gaps, different.
Yeah, and it made me feel more comfortable with those movies, I suppose. But man, Rebels, I know Rock's a huge fan too of the Rebel stuff too, and it just has so much heart. It's the heart that puts into it. So was he alluding to Ahsoka? I really hope so. If we got to see a live action Ahsoka, it's just we see a live action Saw Gerrera, who Forrest Whitaker plays, and that's a big deal. It's a cartoon character turned into a live action character, who is in everything now. That would be so great to see that with Ahsoka. That would be really hype.
The big thing that a lot of these people were talking about on Twitter when they started reacting to the viewings that they saw, a lot of them talk about fan service, and I have to believe Ahsoka would be fan service.
That would be a big fan service, because like we talked about, I don't know if we did talk about it, but when you watch the ending of Solo, and when I'm walking out there, I'll never forget when you see Darth Maul sitting there.
Yep.
And people were like, I'll never forget these older folk being like, I thought he died and blah, blah, blah. Well, if you hadn't watched Clone Wars or even Rebels, he's a constant character. He's a main character at times. So yeah, he's still around at the time of like Solo and some of the probably around Rogue One, or just
makes you wonder though. Is that what J.J. Abrams is falling back on, because there's only so much he can do with the story after what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi? Do you think he's like, hey, look, a lot of this stuff isn't going to add up, or people aren't going to be really happy with it. Let's start throwing in this fan service shit. You kind of think, yeah, this is fucking sweet. So and so's here.
Maybe
not really liking what's going on over here with Rey and Kylo having sex on this huge ship for some reason.
Right,
but hey, Ahsoka's here. It's just how much wiggle room does J.J. Abrams really have to make sense of stuff? And then, and I guess I feel like that kind of goes into your last point is where do we go from here? Is this a result of Disney saying, hey, look, I don't care about the story you want to write. Let's get these out because because look at what they're doing with Marvel. They have 20, 30 movies in the pipelines or early stages or just planned. They got to have the same shit with Star Wars. They got to have the Disney take on a new Star Wars trilogy where they're like, hey, look, let's wrap this shit up. People aren't going to be fucking thrilled about it. Put in a bunch of fan service. Here's a big budget. Make everything blow up real good. And then we'll move on to the next phase of Star Wars. Let's just wrap this up, whatever.
Yeah, so I'm going to guess, and from what they've already been saying, like, first of all, I think part of the problem, and there might be some people that I think pretty much everybody agrees part of the problem is Kathleen Kennedy. I just don't think she gets it.
Right.
And maybe Bob Iger doesn't. I don't know. But you need somebody who's passionate, and I always call him the prodigal son, which is Dave Filoni doing, him and Jon Favreau doing Mandalorian.
Right.
And, you need somebody who's super passionate about it, knowledgeable about it, and can do the right fan service stuff. So where does it go from here? I think Rock has been saying the right thing over the last couple weeks for himself, and I think it kind of resonates a little bit existentially for all Star Wars fans at this point. Is that he wants the movie to get done with, get the Saga series finalized again,
right,
and move on so we can all enjoy it, and there won't be any polarizing. Won't be any people back and forth that do or don't like it. Sorry, now it's a bit. Sorry. So for instance, Mandalorian. Either there's people out there that are already trying to dog it because there's not this big overall arc, and I get some of that. But these guys, to me, it's a live action cartoon, and cartoons aren't always the most
in depth.
Right, and that's fine. It works because fan service, there's a lot of fan service in Mandalorian.
Right.
So was Solo, if people did or didn't see it. Solo, if you're a hardcore Star Wars fan, there were things in Solo that only us would get and nobody else would get. So yes, let's move on from it at the very least. Let's move forward. Let's explore some Old Republic.
Yep.
Revan was brought up. Yes, let's have somebody come in and you could do a trilogy of the original KOTOR, no doubt. You can definitely fill in a lot of blanks and do a trilogy and do an Old Republic and all kinds of different stuff. Let's do stuff like that. We're excited about the Obi-Wan coming in and Ewan McGregor coming back, who is honestly one of the greatest characters in the entire series, truth be told, but more in it's a big fucking galaxy, guys. They can keep making up planets for the rest of the existence of Star Wars because it's a fucking galaxy. There's thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of planets in a fucking galaxy.
Right.
And the Outer Rim, the unknown regions, blah, blah, blah. There's how many people in that?
Right.
You played Star Wars Galaxies in the early 2000s, and you were on fucking random-ass planets, and sometimes you might see a character one time, but never, ever fucking again. It was a massive open-world sandbox, and that's how you can look at Star Wars, and that's how they can really grab it, is just fucking create stories. That kid, even the fucking kid from the last movie, Last Jedi, moving that broom. What's his fucking story? Who does he grow up to be? Is he the next generation of Jedi? Or maybe we just follow a fucking, some Doug racing pods somewhere on a random planet. But that's the point. You could really do anything if it's good character development. It don't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a fucking Jedi every time. It can be a Mandalorian. It could be a Spice Runner. It could be anybody. And that's what's exciting about it. So hopefully we get there and everybody can love Star Wars again. Everybody. Mandalorian's helping that. This guy back here, Baby Yoda, he's brought a lot of people together.
He's the new hotness.
And I know some people, and even me, I'm a big, I know that's not Yoda, and people. So fucking what? We're calling it Baby Yoda. I care more about everybody excited about it than calling it the child or whatever.
Yeah, but it generates buzz. People are talking about it. They want to know. Yeah, and that's one of the great things about Star Wars is trying to figure out the mythos. Trying to figure out the mysteries of certain characters, what their intents are, and stuff like that. But we know that the Game of Thrones showrunners, they're no longer involved. They were going to do something big for Star Wars. I think they were supposed to be the next trilogy. They were supposed to play a part in it, but they're out now.
I'm kind of glad, I'll be honest.
Yeah,
it would bring in a lot of toxicity, I think, if they were still in it.
Yeah, they kind of have that bad aura around them right now.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Rian Johnson, he's in charge of a trilogy, isn't he? I think he said he wanted to do something with a trilogy.
He originally had a trilogy or something in his hands, but I don't know. Does he still have that?
I thought he was still involved in that regard. Now, is there any word on like Dave Filoni and whether or not Jon Favreau have anything else outside of Mandalorian? Are they going to head up anything?
There's been more speculation and probably just fandom want of saying that apparently Kathleen Kennedy's contract's coming up in the next year or two.
Deuces.
And Bob Iger has said, I think privately, that he wants to retire in a few years because they usually run about a decade or so for anybody that takes over.
That's all they really need.
And, well, I guess, who had it before him? He had it. Main guy up with, but Mandalorian's so successful and it's capturing everybody together. So wouldn't necessarily. I don't think Jon Favreau's the right guy, but maybe Dave Filoni takes over Kathleen Kennedy's spot. Why not? Some people are like, well, I don't know if he can direct a film because blah, 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 cartoons.
He directed that one episode. He directed that. Was it the last episode
he's directed at least 2 so far, this Mandalorian. But my take on it is if you let somebody like Rian Johnson, who maybe is a fan but didn't do what everybody wanted, well, why wouldn't you take a chance on a guy that was chosen by fucking George Lucas?
Right. Well, that's
right.
Valid. That's valid.
Like, let the fucking guy, like, any of the shit he's touched, people have loved. Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian, like,
yeah.
Let him fucking do it. So that's who you want, is somebody who's passionate about it and who wants to, yes, part of Star Wars, which is good, is pandering to fans. There's a degree of it that it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Howard did a great job with Solo.
Yep.
Did some crazy shit. So I guess that's all I've got, honestly. Like, let's.
Yeah, we don't want to. Like you said, we don't want to get too much into it,
right.
Because we don't want to kind of like spoil things for ourselves. But,
right.
So yeah, that's where we're gonna wrap this right now.
Yeah.
But here's the plan. We do want to do something. We were planning on doing something Friday night, but that doesn't give a lot of you a chance to go see the movie. But I know a lot of you do plan to see the movie this weekend. I do have an opening on Sunday night. I'm trying to make it work where Tone and I can get together and maybe have like a 45-minute, hour-long discussion about everything that is Rise of Skywalker. And that gives you guys and girls an opportunity to go watch the movie this weekend and then come back in on Sunday night, be a part of that discussion so we can really break down what we see in Episode 9, the final. The end of the saga.
Yeah.
The holy saga.
Yeah. Maybe we can come back here and talk about it and say, okay, well, this is wrong. This is right. This is what I did. Like, maybe we can all sit around and talk about that. If you guys are interested, Sunday night, Yeah,
I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a really good time.
We're gonna try and aim for that. We can watch social media, watch the Discords as well too for all that information. I do want to come back to Prime saying that argument is BS. The Russo brothers directed Community before they went to Marvel. Sure, but at the same time, like, they took a chance on the Russo brothers, right? So, they took a chance on Ryan and it didn't work out. So take a chance on a guy that's passionate about the series.
Right.
That's the way I would look at it.
That's valid. Yeah, we're going to try to do it Sunday. If it doesn't work, we might have a window on Monday nights, possibly, depending on schedules
really
and what
more than
have
any
you.
work and family stuff right now.
Yeah, that's the only bitch.
You agree
Obviously,
with me?
it's a crazy week. We got it's a holiday and stuff like that. But we want to get together and talk about this movie while it's hot, while everyone has seen it, everyone's formed their opinions. So we're definitely targeting Sunday night. I would say it'll probably happen Sunday night. But
Tuesday,
probably not unless I want to get
negative.
divorced. Yeah, unless I want to get served papers on Christmas Day.
Right.
But so yeah, like Tone said, follow us on social media. iTunes, YouTube, not social media. Twitter, Instagram, Grindr. That's where you can find us.
At Fanboytone. You can find Grindr.
But yeah, make sure you check us out. I'm on Twitter at TheDude79. He's on Twitter at Fanboytone. Follow us there. Check for updates. We'll let you know. But Sunday night will probably be the night that we'll have a nice big spoiler fest to talk about.
Yeah,
everything.
So if
Rise
you haven't
of
seen
Skywalker.
it, don't come through. But if you want to talk about it,
as usual, if you can't catch it live on Sunday, I'll try to have it up Monday night before the holiday, because after that, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and like the week after that, it's gonna be really difficult. So I will try to get. If you can't make it Sunday night, I'll try to get it uploaded to all the usual outlets, whether it's on podcast form or video form, so you guys can watch it over the break.
Reading.
But you guys, thank you so fucking much for being here tonight. It's seriously awesome when you guys and girls show up and you're talking with us and you're sharing your thoughts on things. That's why we do this, man.
Yeah.
This is why we do this.
We try to keep up with the chat as best we can. We appreciate you, Prime, out there as always, and even Cappadocian and you guys talking out there and trying to, keep some of that going too. We try to catch when we can because I know we got a lot to talk about and the flow's going. But you guys showing up and just even be here listening at the very least or talking amongst yourselves is really, really important to us. We appreciate that a lot. This is why we do it.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Yeah. So I hope everybody has a great night. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Go see the movie. Come back Sunday night. We'll have a big discussion about it. If you can't make it, I hope everybody has a great holiday. Have a great Christmas. Have a great New Year. And after the Sunday show, we'll probably be back.
I'm figuring the 8th or 9th of January.
We'll be off for a couple weeks with Banter Babble and that Banter and Babble. Like, can I have another one, please?
Need some more rum.
Jesus, my Lord. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up before I throw up. I am the Dude79. This is Fanboytone. Thank you so much for watching Banter and Babble. We'll see you guys Sunday night. See you later.